I don't like Trump. I've said it multiple times. I don't know why people think I like Trump. I don't like Trump. I never liked Trump. It's just that when you decide to vote for someone, votes are not based on single issue subjects. That's point number one. They are based on multiple issues. And despite what Ann Coulter did to Vivek Ramaswamy, uska naam wahi hai na, Vivek Ramaswamy hai na uska naam? Yeah. So he still came right to the top only in the Republican Party. And him and many others have been rising to the top only in the Republican Party. Because while they have this Christian blind spot, they also have a very good, amazing ability for meritocracy. Republicans love meritocracy at the same time, far more per capita, if you measure it, than Democrats. And Democrats, whether you like it or not, you're a Chaturvedi. Oh, Baba, tere to lag gaye. Tu to Chaturvedi hai. इसको तो लग गया, इसका सरनेम देख के इसको कुछ नहीं मिलेगा, क्योंकि वो तेरी जात पकड़ेंगे और तेरी जात को तेरी ऐसे ना पुड़ी डाल के ना तेरे पिछवाड़े में डालेंगे और तेरे को बिठा देंगे उधर कोने में. भाई बुरा नहीं मनाना, मैं तेरे को मुंह पे बोल रहा हूँ. I'm saying this to your face. So try and understand, the DEI Democrats are no longer the Democrats you actually thought of. And if you're talking about xenophobia, I've seen Democrats calling Indians parasites. Yes, parasites. Tech Indians, especially Indians in the tech industry, are called parasites by left-leaning Democrats. So I don't know what you're smoking, brother, but I certainly am not. I'm very clear. When you select a political outfit, you select what is good for the country overall, what is good for the economy, what is good for their national security.
No, so
personally, I am an immigration hawk. I don't support illegal immigration. I don't believe just because there is some person from Punjab right now at the southern border in America, and just he happens to be of the same ethnicity as mine, he gets some right to enter America. Do you know why the H-1B1 suffer more? It's because of the left-wing policy of letting illegal aliens in. Because they know हमको जरूरत ही नहीं है H-1B की, हम ये illegal alien से काम कराएंगे हमारे बहुत सारे.
So strangely, Canada has immigration figured out better than US, because Canada actually has a merit-based
Canada
immigration.
has fucked up its immigration.
No. That is because of what Trudeau did. I am saying the whole concept of you can apply to be a permanent resident if you have merits. If you work in Canada, there is a path for it.
Yeah,
it's a point system. So similarly, H1 could have been a point system that if you have stayed enough for 10-15 years, you can transition to a green card if you want. If you don't, you don't need to. But they've made it so complicated, and that is usually screwed up because of the Democrat. So H1 Indians have only benefited when Bush was the president, and to some extent they moved up ahead of the queue because during COVID, other immigration to green card stopped, so H1 zoomed ahead, right? But to your question, I think sometimes because we are tuned to see Indians ka issue ye hai, we only think nationally, because even in our elections, and Kushal and I have said that, we don't think about local issues. Ek local councillor ka election hai, and rather than people thinking about the street outside their house, they are voting, bhai, I will vote for this because he supports Benjamin Netanyahu, the corporator. Bhai, you are voting for your corporator. Look at what he has done for your drainage, your street, whether you're getting your flooding or not, right? So our issue is always we are thinking globally because we watch national news. So we make the same mistake American wise. Ki if we vote Republican one place, we are going to vote Republican everywhere. You can absolutely vote Republican nationally or Democrat nationally, but vote for a different person in the state elections.
Exactly.
Because locally, I have seen that you find when you go down south, you find Republicans to be on some Republicans. I'm not saying all. Some Republicans who are on the far right. You find a lot of Democrats who are in the center who are much more willing to do. Similarly, if you go to New York and California, the Republicans in New York and California are much more likely to work with you than the Democrats who are pandering to the far left. Right. So you have to make that. And the problem with Indians is also we are in clusters. Where are we the most? In New York, California, Texas, and to some extent in Florida. Hai baki jagah clusters, but these are the 3-4 biggest. The tri-state area, New York, New Jersey. So New York, New Jersey, and California are essentially Democrat guards. So people started voting Democrats and stuff because they're like, kuch aana to hai nahi. That's where you should actually start reaching out to the Republicans and see what you can do to help them and what they can do to help you. Similarly, in Texas, you can work with both parties, because where do all the Indians stay? In the big cities. All the big cities in Texas are Democrat, the state is Republican. So you have to work with both parties over here as well. So I think the Indian Americans can vote in whatever party they want nationally, but they need to separate in their mind who they are voting nationally
I
and
have
who they are
discussed
voting
here,
locally.
if you are an Indian American, especially a Hindu, and you vote for the left right now, considering the state of the left, you're actually committing suicide. Your choice. I will still respect democracy and your democratic rights. I'm sorry. Voting for the left, especially as a Hindu right now, is literal suicide. The left is convinced that the Hindu is white adjacent. The left hates whiteness. You are a monumental level idiot to go
No,
for
no,
that.
but I'll tell you, Kushal, you know what has changed? Not all this. What changed for a lot of people of Indian American, including all these far lefties in New York and California as well, who talk about how they are in the global progressive order. उनके बच्चों का admission got cancelled in Ivy Leagues because Ivy League suddenly started treating Indian Americans as white adjacent in so
Yeah.
when they talk about diversity hires, Indians were sort of exempted. The Asian Americans are not. So there are lawsuits now that are being filed in corporate. So now the जो हम लोग 5 साल पहले बोल रहे थे कि be careful whom you are allying with, now that has hit their stomachs and that has hit their
No,
kids, and so now they're suddenly taking U-turns.
there is a section of Hindus in North America that has completely, snorted the not just one line, like 6 lines of the victimhood cocaine.
No,
And
it's
they
not
want-
that. No,
It
Kushal,
is.
no, it's not.
Victimhood is seductive.
No.
And
It's
a
not.
lot of
It's not.
Hindus I meet here are so addicted to the idea of, oh, I'm such a victim. I'm such a
No, but
victim.
people who moved here 40 years ago, they were called abused. They were abused by people. They were racially attacked.
Magar, it is 40 years ago.
Arey,
Do you
but
know what was happening in
it is-
India 25
Arey,
years
it's in
ago?
your psyche. It's in your psyche. Why are Delhi BJP folks who are Delhi old BJP voters who are victims of partition still carry the scars? Can you tell them, अरे वो तो यार 70 साल पहले था यार, अब तो move on. क्या है India Pakistan भाई भाई? You can't say that, right? So it affects people. So I know people who have been racial. They've been called such horrible terms.
My father-in-law was mobbed in New York.
मैं मना नहीं कर रहा हूँ.
I don't need I don't need that. But I'm sorry, I don't live like that. My life is based on actual rationality. I don't
agree with you.
Emotions beyond a point.
No. I agree with you. I'm saying I am on your side. I am just trying to get their perspective. So I
think their perspective is stupid. And I will change from the right to left in an instance when the left corrects itself. But the point is, right now, the left is stupid. And on the immigration issue, I don't know why Indians don't get this. Immigration is not a right. It is a privilege. America, Canada, India, New Zealand, Australia, UK, or any nation on planet Earth has a right to decide who they let in, how they let in, when they let in. Like in Canada right now, Indian students go around saying, we should get a PR. And one of the videos I heard a student saying, मैंने यहाँ पे property ले लिया, अब मुझे अंदर आने दो. अबे क्या?
Yeah. No. So immigration is a right, but I think the whole debate is it should be fairer. Right, like you should not favor one community over the other, or one community shouldn't be punished over the other. But that absolutely, it's a privilege, it's a right, and it's incumbent on the government to choose how they choose it. So I'm just hoping that when whoever the next administration comes, they have a same sort of thing. My point with the Indian Americans is, if immigration does mean to you, say it. It's not a bad thing to be an advocate of this, that I'm standing for with my people. Legally, jo yahan pe legally 30 saal, 40 years, if they've come here for 20 years, 30 years, and they are not getting, and someone who has come here 4 years ago, 5 years ago is getting a green card, it's perfectly okay to stand with them. But the thing is, they are afraid to speak up.
Who set the policy? Who set the messy?
Oh, it's the left. Absolutely. It's the left. So it started with the right. So it started with the right. So I credit where it's due. Actually, Bill Clinton was the one who improved the policy, but then it went completely shit. So Senior Bush Clinton and George W. Bush, they sort of were, that was the immigration gold era for the Indian Americans, but because they had a very pragmatic immigration policy. And then it just went completely ballistic. And then also the numbers, yeah, we are also a huge number. So the numbers game went crazy. But if you want to make a change, go talk to the people. Go call up the congressperson, call up the senator and say that this affects you, and they'll change. Why the hell were they all talking about the farmers' protest? You think suddenly the American senators know कि दिल्ली border पे क्या हो रहा है?
स्प्राइट की एड थी ना, लोगों को पैसे दो कुछ भी बोल डालते हैं,
कुछ भी बोले. अरे स्प्राइट की एड क्यों? अंबानी वेडिंग नहीं है.
So it says a lot about the Hindu American community, unfortunately. Forget all that. I understand Canadian politics with some level of decency now. You can't let 1.2 million people in year after year and not create housing and then absolutely destroy a nation, urban landscape, and then say, oh, I'm sorry, you will have the native population respond back. And Canadians hate immigration now. And it's going to create tough times for Indians. And you know who's responsible for that? It's the Canadian left.
Yeah, no, and the question, also the Canadian citizens who kept voting Trudeau. Why the hell are you voting Trudeau? Keep voting him again and again. तो फिर यही होगा ना. I remember when he was making those stupid physics statements and stuff like that, and every Canadian on Twitter and stuff was going, oh, how smart is Trudeau and stuff like that. And then he called for a snap poll 2 years later. People still voted for him. He only lost 0.5% of the vote.